Good morning, everybody. Hey, Ken Ma, we're on the California Delta in the summertime, and in the Lucky Tackle Box we have the Bruiser Baits Kickin Frog. We're gonna throw it. We're looking for topwater fish to come up and explode on this thing. We're gonna fish it around grass mats. There's also a couple of different rigging techniques. We could go subsurface. Should be a lot of fun today. I'm covering the show today because Travis is in Cabo lollygagging. So come join us on the California Delta.
Oh. Yes! Look at that one.
They're killing this Bruiser Baits frog now.
So what I'm doing is I'm flipping it out there, you know, whether I'm finding a hole, you know, or a little opening in the mat, and I'm watching my bait go to the bottom. When it goes to the bottom, what I tend to like to do is I'll give it a couple of pops just like that, and I'll let it settle back down, right? And you're always watching your line, so I'll just pop it up and I'll let it settle back down. If one doesn't have it or one doesn't get it, I'm reeling it up and I'm looking for the next spot, because we want to make as many presentations as we can with that bait coming down through the mat. Those are what triggers those bigger bites and those fish to really eat that bait. So what we're doing with this Bruiser Baits frog is, you know, everywhere in the country, it's in the summer, we're looking at a lot of vegetation growing. You know, whether it's vegetation that's growing off of the bottom in your lake or your pond or wherever you're fishing, or it's floating vegetation, you know, whether it's primrose, hyacinth, pennywort, you know, just anything that's floating. Those fish, when it gets hot, they love to tuck underneath that stuff, and they're hiding underneath there. So what we're doing is we're taking that Bruiser Baits frog, you know, and what I love about it, and I've been doing it for a while, is I take a frog imitator, just like this bait, and instead of it always being on the surface and those fish looking up at it, I'm punching it or flipping it down around the holes of the grass so that bait's falling down to them and those legs are kicking, and it gives that action, and they really do think it's a frog kind of darting in and out of there, and it's a high protein meal. So a lot of things that are key also is when you're looking for that vegetation, a lot of the bites that I'm getting today are around some hard cover, whether it's a piece of wood, it could be a tule clump, or it could be even a bush. So it's a really versatile bait. It's really exciting, and I'm going to show you some other ways to rig and catch fish with the bait. So look at that one. Just a big old mess of water grass. So I was working that bait across this cheese that you see in the background here, and that fish came up and just really nipped on it. And like you said, you got to be in this grass. The fish love it. I always say the bass love to be in the grass. So I just caught that fish, cheese mat, you know, the sun got a little bit high. It kind of warmed up a little bit later in the middle of the day, and all I'm doing with this bait, and I talked about how versatile it was, you know, I got it rigged on a double frog hook. I got the hooks buried into the bait, and I'm basically working this bait much like a hollow belly frog. You know, and a lot of people will say, well, why don't you just throw a hollow belly frog? And really, why this bait also works sometimes better than a hollow belly frog is you'll see little holes and little pockets. And when this bait falls or gets near that little hole or pocket, it'll actually sink down into that pocket, where a hollow belly frog will just sit on top. That's all you're doing with it, is fishing it on top. So this has the ability to not only fish on top of the cheese and the mats, but it also sinks down in there to where those fish maybe don't want to come all the way to the surface to get it. And that's why I like the versatility of a bait like this. So what I've been doing with this Bruiser bait on this double hook is I'm keeping my rod in front of me and I'm making short little pops with that bait. And then if I see a little hole, I'll move my rod over to the left or the right, and I'll actually steer that bait into that hole, let it sink down in the hole, and I'll work it right out of that hole. Work it all the way to the back of the boat, pick it up, make another cast. Dang, I want to catch that. Oh, he's got it. Oh, he's got it. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, it's a good one. Oh my goodness, it's a good one. Oh, look at this one, guys. Look at this one. I threw back in there. He ate it 2 or 3 times. I threw back in. Oh, don't come on. Don't come on. Look at that one, guys. Look at that one. Look at that one. Look at that one, guys. Freaking choked it. Bruiser bait. Freaking choked it. You know, like I said, this fish blew up on my bait and I threw it back in there like 3-4 times, and it just, and that versatility, like a hollow belly frog, I don't think that fish would have came back to bite it. But I threw it in there, I let it sink in there, and it sat below the surface, and she couldn't stand it. Look at that one. Oh. Hey everybody, we're gonna talk about rigging and setup on these Bruiser bait frogs. As you can see, I went through a bunch of bags while we were filming today. And you know, the first setup that we did was a flip-in or pitch-in or punch-in setup. I'm using a 4-aught hook, and this is a 3/4 ounce weight. I also have 2 bobber stoppers on here, and I use 65 to 80 pound test line. Okay, so that's your standard punch-in or flip-in setup. And you're gonna take this Bruiser bait, and we're just gonna Texas rig it on this hook. So we're gonna take it, we're gonna insert it right into the top, about a 1/4 inch down, and then we're gonna come out of one side just like that. Okay, then we're gonna slide this up right up this line. We're gonna slide it right up the line up to this keeper, and then we're gonna turn the hook in toward the body of the bait. Okay, then we're gonna take this and we're gonna push the body. I like to rig it right here on the edge of the bait, so that way when you do get bit, you don't have to push through all this plastic. Okay, so that was the setup. We caught a bunch of fish on this. Like again, what I talked about, it's really versatile bait. Okay, so that was the flipping, pitching, punching setup. Okay, later in the day when the sun got high and those cheese mats and grass mats, I caught that great big one and a couple of others. We used the same bait, the same Bruiser bait. We took a 2-aught, I'm sorry, it's actually a double, and it's a 5-aught double frog hook. There's a little weight on it. And then what's unique about this hook is it's got a little screw lock keeper on it right here. So it really makes rigging easy. You just take this screw lock, you push it right in through the top of the bait, and you just start turning. And you do got to make sure that it goes in the center and that it's straight. So you just keep turning until it's in there and it's locked on there. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take this bait. You're going to push it right between those 2 hooks. It fits right perfectly in between those 2 hooks. Okay. Then we're going to take these hooks and then we're going to push it backwards and we're going to bury it just like that into the side of that Bruiser bait frog, and it's completely weedless. Hey everyone, I've had a blast today. I hope you've learned something. You know, I thank Lucky Tackle Box for having me, and you know, that Bruiser Baits is such a versatile bait. You can do a bunch of things with it. You know, you could buzz it, you know, swim it, crank it, flip it, And of course you can punch it to catch fish like this. If you liked the videos that you saw, you know, click on the link below to follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Get some baits and go catch some good ones.